Good evening, everyone. It is your weather expert, David Schlotthauer here. It's an honor that you're here tonight with me as we take a look at latest global computer models as well as some of the higher end models, because we do have a tornado outbreak that is looking pretty likely right now for Tuesday afternoon. That's what some of the guidance is indicating. And as you know, the thumbnail does say tornado outbreak possible with an area that I have highlighted over Arkansas, over northern Louisiana, over northeastern Texas, under the gun here for the potential for some strong tornadoes. And yes, strong tornadoes is not used very lightly, if you guys were wondering about that. And so how this is going to run down tonight is I am going to do my discussion first. We're going to be looking over all the models, what we need to look at, what we're looking for. We're going to kind of dive into some deep detail of what are the ingredients going to be as far as the severe weather goes for Tuesday. And then we're going to get to your questions towards the end of the stream, kind of towards the middle, perhaps maybe do a little bit of fun interaction with you all. So if I don't get to your guys' questions right now, that is because, again, we really need to dive deep into this and talk about with what is going to be a factor that is going to partake into this Tuesday's event of severe weather. And I mean, we are talking about a fairly big event. This is, we're talking late November, folks. This is not your typical May or June kind of deal. This is in the winter months almost. Actually, December 1st would officially mark winter for meteorological terms, okay? So there it is. Tornado outbreak is looking possible as far as that goes. That's what the thumbnail clearly illustrates. So when you take a look here at our Storm Prediction Center forecast, again, we will get to questions, so I'm not forgetting about you all. I'm not ignoring you all, so just keep that in mind. That's why we have Candy S. That's why we have a very awesome crew of an audience here that will keep some of you new viewers entertained. And then we get to the questions kind of towards the middle to the end of this stream. This is not a 7-hour stream. This is kind of probably be about an hour or so. So let's take a look here at the Storm Prediction Center, because we do have that enhanced risk for severe weather that is currently issued for northern Louisiana, for eastern Arkansas, for northwestern and western Mississippi. If you are in, say, Memphis, Tennessee, you have a 3 out of 5 on the severity index. That's what the SPC is showing us right now. We have a slight risk surrounding that all the way down into, say, portions there of southernmost, like Cameron Park in Louisiana. If you are in, say, easternmost Texas, there's a slight risk for severe weather. And then, of course, touching the little bottom piece there of Illinois as well as Indiana, for southeastern Missouri, under a slight risk for severe weather. But the good thing is, this is not a huge, humongous enhanced risk, right? Like other events, this is very compact, and it is a relatively narrow corridor, but when we factor in the strong tornadoes, it is still relatively large in mile perimeter spaces. So this is driven by a 30 sig for severe weather. So this is a level 3.9 out of 4 or out of 5 on the severity clinics index, which again covers that northern Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, as well as Mississippi, as well as western Tennessee. Again, that's a 30 sig. That means you have a 10% or greater probability of seeing significant severe weather within 25 miles of a point, depending on where you're at. If you're outside of this region, you don't really need to worry big time about severe weather. But if you are in the tri-state here of Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, as well as Tennessee, that's where you have a pretty good shot at seeing things set up pretty vigorously. All right, make sure you do write your guys' questions down on a piece of paper so that way you don't forget about what you were going to ask me, so I can answer your question as quickly as possible and we can make this go fairly smoothly. I almost forgot to mention that in this stream. So, first of all, what is going to be kind of aiding in the severe weather threat? Well, the first thing that we're looking at here is our mixed layer dew point. Now, a lot of you, I learned this myself. I taught myself this. I don't know if I did it the correct way. But I like to use mixed layer dew point, and there's a number of reasons why I like doing that, and that's because assuming that the air is well mixed, okay, from the mid and surface parcel layers, we're able to fine tune the dew point as accurately as possible, because we know in this given time frame for Tuesday morning through the Wednesday morning daytime or time frame, we are going to see a very well mixed boundary layer. So we're going to even things out by assuming the boundary is very well mixed, and we're going to mix that dew point up a little bit. So if we go and take a look at dew point temperature, you'll notice this is going to take some time to load. Why is it not loading on me? Okay, there it is. You'll notice the 60-degree dew point is a little further to the south. Not by much. This is fairly accurate, but it is important that we use it. And 0 to 3 millibars, or 0 to 30, I should say, above ground level, where we are measuring that column of air, okay, which is probably within the first 500 feet above the surface. So when we take a look at this, we can see by Tuesday late morning, early afternoon, we can see that we do have a lot of this moisture getting pulled in from the south off the Gulf of Mexico, going to be advecting all the way north into Missouri as well as southern Illinois. And so when we go forward by Tuesday afternoon, we actually do advect dew points all the way up into the 60s, as far north as, say, southeastern Missouri, well across Little Rock, Arkansas. If you are in central Mississippi, like Montgomery, just to the west of Montgomery, you have this big tongue of rich moisture, as well as Louisiana. In fact, most of Louisiana could have mixed layer dew points in the 70s. So that's a lot of moisture that is going to be advecting northward along a very strong, prominent low-level jet speed max that is going to overspread the warm sector, as well as a lot of moisture here well to the west over the border here of Texas and Louisiana. Arklatex area going to experience a lot of high amplitude moisture that is going to be advecting northward. And then, of course, there's going to be forcing along that, so that's why we're seeing widely scattered, intense long track supercells. Some of them could be more organized than others, and those would be the ones to really watch for strong long track tornadoes. Some of these could even be perhaps violent. I don't like using that word very lightly, but we could see at least one violent tornado out of this based on the perimeter space that we are seeing. And it's going to cover primarily in this areas where we're really watching for the best dynamics for strong tornadoes to shape up on Tuesday. Speaking of that, here's the supercell composite indexes. I would highly recommend if you guys, I notice a lot of you like to use this perimeter all the time, which is fine. I understand that, right? But notice the colors here are almost similar to that of the Storm Prediction Center. This is to not be used in substitute to the Storm Prediction Center at all. This is just an overlay amount of supercell composite indexes. So the higher the index, the potential more there is for supercellular storms, because it takes a lot of perimeters. It looks at wind shear, shear, lift, instability, and moisture. SLIM is the short acronym for shear, lift, instability, moisture. SLIM, right? My pants are slim. That means shear, lift, instability, moisture is going to be a thing to come on Tuesday. So the highest perimeters are going to be, again, over this area, this narrow space corridor, like I said, all the way from eastern Texas, all the way down into Louisiana, into central Mississippi, stretching all the way up here into Arkansas, is where I think we're going to have at least several supercells with a few strong tornadoes and at least one violent tornado that could spawn off of this pattern that we have. Now, even so we don't have a lot of directional shear in place, we do have a lot of energetic upper level support. We have a lot of speed shear that is going to be overspreading this area. And what I mean by speed shear is we have let me use this. So we have winds at the surface that are moving slower, and we have winds doing this. So what happens when we have winds like that is you'll get actually curling. The winds will curl because you have a slower layer of air. So you get this curling, and that actually creates helicity, just like you would if we had directional shear, which is a speed change with height. And so you can kind of see how that changes, right? My hand is going like this because you have winds coming in this way. You have upper level winds, so it's going to push the air and it's going to tube it like that. Versus speed shear, you get just these horizontal rolls, Rossby waves in the atmosphere. And if you get an updraft, a thunderstorm that's strong enough, these Rossby waves, these tubes of air, could actually tilt upward into the vertical. And when they do, we get tornadoes or we get supercells. So that's kind of what I'm illustrating here, that that's going to be taking place here over the Arkansas, Louisiana, excuse me, Arklatex area, as well as the Mississippi Valley. Now, we looked at the supercell perimeters. Let's actually look at the tornado perimeters, and let's kind of pick a few soundings. No, I'm not trying to cherry pick from this, okay? I don't want people to call me out for that by cherry picking. Yeah, we're not going to be picking cherries off the tree here. We're just going to kind of roll through a perimeter space of whoever is living underneath a lot of the worst action. So first of all, we're going to start at 21Z. Okay, so we're going to pull a sounding here over the eastern Texas region. I hope my screen will fit this in onto the sounding here when this loads. Not completely. That's why we can go to full screen here and pull that up, and we can see that we have a couple of things. I'm not going to go into hypersonic, super quadruple detail because I will literally bore the heck out of you all brains that are not interested in this kind of stuff. So simply, we're looking at our hodograph. There's a lot of curvature in the lower 2 kilometers of the atmosphere. So all the way up until about here, we have a lot of curvature in some sense. So we have a little bit of speed shear and directional shear, but the speed shear is going to be the dominant feature in some portions of the initiation or the first phase of this. And so we can see the winds shifting with height there, and that's why we have a PDS tornado. You can see our vertical wind profile, winds out of the south at the surface. They turn southwesterly at 500 millibars, and again, that sets the stage for organized supercellular storms in the free warm sector. When we pull off another sounding, let's go to here. Let's go into, say, portions of southern Arkansas. So if you're in this area, we also have a lot of turning with the winds here. So surface winds from the south at about 10 knots, they increase substantially all the way up to like 50 knots at about half a kilometer. And the purple line, by the way, you guys are maybe wondering that, the purple line here is half a kilometer. The red line is 1 to 3 kilometer. The green line on the hodograph here illustrates a 3 to 6 kilometer, which is predominant. So we're looking at this overall. Critical angles are looking poor though, but our storm slinky doesn't look too bad. So is our hodograph. That's going to lead to particularly dangerous situation tornadoes. Now the potential hazard type, let's not focus on that very much because that's just an analog algorithmic system that the models pick up as, and that can be very daunting and could lead to more scare than just saving lives. And so the PDS tornado hazard type should be treated very, very lightly, as again, this is assuming what is going on with the sounding. Everything, just a little change in the atmosphere means all the difference here. And so just take this with a grain of salt, okay? Let's not pay attention to that very much. Severe hail on this sounding particularly is favorable for very large hail of at least quarter size. So that's a look at that. One more sounding we will pull off. Let's go further to the east here, right near the Memphis, Tennessee area. This I'm kind of cherry picking because it's in the highest area of tornado parameter spaces. And yes, again, this is very curved, very, very curved. So we're literally starting off winds from the south at about 15 knots. Winds shift out of the west-southwesterly direction. I mean, that's at 1 kilometer above the surface. So we have strong tornado potential here, organized supercells. We have enough instability, enough moisture in place. In fact, very saturated moisture all the way up to 850 millibars. And so that's, again, going to lead to lower LCLs. Lower LCLs means we could have stovepipe tornadoes. We could have wedges out of this. So it's not going to be the typical another way to put this, we're not going to just see your skinny rope tornadoes. And again, size does not matter, so this is going to kind of relate to that very well. You could have very big cone like wedge tornadoes, right, and still have an EF2 or an EF3. It's all about the cyclostrophic pressure that happens. If you get a very compact vortex, you will know. That's why we don't base off of intensity based on how large the tornado is, okay? Because I've seen very large wedges that are only EF2 or EF3 versus some of the cone tornadoes end up being EF4 or an EF5, right? Hopefully that makes sense and doesn't cause confusion. So the significant tornado perimeter is definitely elevated. This does warrant an enhanced risk for severe weather. I am not going to call it quite yet in the next outlook by the SPC. They haven't made their outlook yet, but they'll release one in the next 4 or 5 hours, and I probably am not quite confident they're going to go moderate yet. Okay, I don't want to say a moderate risk in this live stream and people expect a moderate risk, right? I'm probably going to lean on the lower end of the scale, and I'm still going to keep it as an enhanced risk for severe weather in this live stream, just because there is some uncertainty, there is some evolution changes that could happen here of what time the storm set up, how many supercells we get. Is there going to be a lot of interactions? Is there going to be a lot of cell mergers? It's that type of scenario that we're looking at. And the reason why we're seeing that is if we look at the instability, right, we know there's going to be a lot of that going on. Lots of CAPE out there, convective available potential energy that's going to be in place over the Arklatex region, such as Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, as well as eastern Texas. Well, let's see, we got southeastern Missouri here. It is right in here where we're going to have a very unstable atmosphere, not just because of daytime heating. I mean, the whole atmosphere down here is even fully destabilized, even in the morning hours. So when you wake up, we don't have a lot of capping going on. And you might be asking, how does David know there's not going to be capping? What are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at CAPE. We're also looking at mixed layer convective inhibition. It's about how much energy prevents a parcel from rising. Okay, so you can think of this like a lid. I wish I had a container here and showed you a lid kind of effect on the atmosphere. So I'll just kind of try to visualize it. You guys can visualize like me. So in other words, when you have a cap, the air is stable. There's not anything, a level of free convection. In other words, if we pull up a sounding here, let's do a sounding over here in, say, Arkansas early on. This has up to 700 joules by Tuesday early afternoon. And we can see We have a little bit of a cap here. It's not very strong on the sounding, but we definitely have a bit of a capping inversion, just enough to at least limit some severe weather. But that could also be constructive. This could allow more discrete activity to build up because we have a lid in place. These storms are not able to just blow up all at once all over the atmosphere, right? They stay contained and they stay discrete. So that's a bad thing to have a weak capping inversion over here. But this down here is uncapped. It's very unstable, and that's going to lead to several long-tracked discrete storms that could and that are likely to show up here on the models. That continues all the way into Wednesday morning. So again, over Louisiana, over Louisiana, over Mississippi, over say western Tennessee, like Memphis. You're going to likely see a lot of that instability, some forcing baroclinic ascent on this. So we're going to see a lot of showers and thunderstorms really start to pop up along the instability axis, which is oriented towards the north-northeast and the south-southwest. Another feature that I like to look at too is, of course, the winds. Yes, the winds, not just at the surface, but we're going to go from top to bottom. So first of all, what is our setup? What's going to cause the severe weather in the first place? It's not just instability or shear or moisture, right? We also have a jet stream, an upper level support type system. We have a speed max right here roaring over the four corners of the desert southwest across the western half of the U.S. Out ahead of it, we have, again, more southwesterly flow aloft here. So pretty much self-explanatory, but what you guys don't see here, and you guys are probably going to look at me like, well, weird about this, but what we have down here is this little piece of energy right here. This is what we call a little glocket of energy, a little, that's just the word, glocket. You learned something new on my channel. I'll show you also what a glocket is on a model out in the Pacific, the system that would hit our area on Thursday when we get to questionnaire time. But here's how it's going to look. So Tuesday morning, we have a little glocket of upper level wind support on this jet stream. And so when we go forward, we can see that glocket of very strong speed max increases 21Z on Tuesday, while we have our secondary speed max out off towards the northwest. This is going to help entice the forcing mechanism in the free warm sector where this speed max is going to be in place. Okay, and that's why we're going to see a lot of the discrete activity going on. There's your trough. This is kind of a positively tilted in nature, so we're not seeing a negatively tilted trough, but this would be a pretty good example at showing you just because we have a positively tilted trough does not mean we ignore severe weather. In this case, or in some cases, positively tilted troughs are notorious at producing the least amount of severe weather, while negatively tilted troughs are very good at producing very dynamic like systems such as a dry line, a triple point. You got the warm front usually. In this case, we're not seeing much of that. Instead, we're seeing a speed max within a positively perturbation of the trough that's going to be oriented over Kansas, over Nebraska, over say Iowa, over Minnesota, and then here it is right in here, very, very strong baroclinic ascent right out ahead of this area of speed max that's going to be over the Arkansas, over Tennessee, over southern Indiana if you are in Kentucky. Very strong upper level winds here at over 85 knots, even getting close to 90 knots, and that's going to lead to some substantial amounts of deep layer shear. In fact, if we look at the shear alone, we have shear values of over 70 knots, let alone on this trough. Now, when you take a look at the 850 millibar, this is in the low levels. Again, speed max here is just cranking. It's just screaming all over the place, especially where all this moisture gets advected inward. We're looking at 50 plus knots of low-level winds, enough to trigger discrete storms, and that speed max is going to continue all the way into, say, Tuesday night and a Wednesday over Tennessee, over Kentucky. So while maybe not eastern Tennessee may not get a whole lot of thunderstorm activity, you're going to get some very strong southwesterly winds at the surface because we have that upper level support that's going to be in place, and a lot of that momentum transfer over because you have rough terrain. You know, the Appalachians, the Smoky Mountains, that there you get this downsloping effect with these winds, and so you're going to get very strong wind gusts as this front pulls through. And you can see here winds right around 20 and 30 miles an hour over Tennessee, over Kentucky, over Ohio by Wednesday morning. But you can see right here is where our wind is going to be very strong within those thunderstorms by Tuesday afternoon into the evening hours. That's a look at the dynamics. So I did not have time to make a map for this. So let me see if I can pull up Google Maps here for this reasoning. So you all, actually it's not going to work. Maybe it will. Let's see if we can get it to work here. I'm trying to fit this in. I'm trying to fit this all in perfectly to the live stream so you all could actually see this just perfect. All right, so this is what you all need to know. I'm gonna try to paint this. I'll be a good artist, you guys. I'm not, you'll get to see me the first time to make maps like this. By the way, if you do follow me on Facebook or even on Twitter, I also do make custom maps on there from time to time. I haven't done it lately because I haven't had, again, enough time for that. So right now, for the reasoning, I am not quite confident at saying some of you are going to remain in a storm watch. In fact, a lot of you will remain in a storm watch. So I'm going to circle this area right in here. Anyone circled in orange, let me make this a little fatter. Right in here is where there is going to be a storm watch that is issued. Now, this product, there's just two of them, a storm watch and a storm warning. Now, these are not National Weather Service products, so you could spend hours and hours at looking what a storm watch is, what a storm warning is. Now, a storm warning is in marine aspects on the NWS, but it is not used how I used it, okay? It's used in oceanic lake terms like Lake Michigan. You get storm warnings from time to time. This is entirely different. This is land-based only. A storm watch means significant severe weather is anticipated, okay? And the threshold goes like this. So a storm watch means you're going to have strong winds that meet wind advisory terms. So when winds are at least 40 miles an hour with wind gusts of at least that magnitude or greater, a storm watch is issued. This also means you're going to have moderate to heavy rainfall and thunderstorms, okay? This is a watch, all right? And in this case, we're including the chances for tornadoes over the Arkansas, Mississippi area. Now, let's just say I say, okay, a storm warning has been issued for these areas, right? If there's a storm warning issued, it's even more significant than a storm watch. This means substantial, possibly life-threatening, severe, life-threatening weather could be impacting your area, such as either very heavy snowfall, very heavy rainfall, very strong, potentially damaging winds, and in this case, we're looking at the potential for for several strong tornadoes. Some of them could be violent. Okay, we are going to also look at 75 plus mile an hour damaging winds and very large hail. So the storm warning, if I issue it, I'm not going to issue it tonight because there's, again, Still some ambiguities as far as the uncertainty among the high-res models. Right now, you're still under a watch, but if a warning does get issued, you must get prepared for significant severe weather in this case. Now, if this was over California, it would be very heavy snowfall, rainfall, strong winds, and flood concerns. Okay, so depending on where you're at, a storm warning means all the difference. Okay, so that's a quick look at what I just illustrated. I wanted to make sure it actually does pop up on the map, so that's good. So let's look at that. So I can't believe that I only took 14 minutes into that. I took 30 minutes. Why does it feel like 15 minutes? I guess I love talking, so it doesn't seem very long at all. It doesn't. It's just incredible. All right, so now I'm opening myself up to questions. Anyone have questions that you all have written down in your notebook? Any questions that you guys have about the severe weather? I'm also going to briefly touch. I'm just going to kind of give you all a love tap that I'm going to also be talking about what Glocket means as far as weather perimeter, as far as a weather synoptic scale goes. It does feel longer, yeah. What's up, Tony H? I'm not ending this stream now. Probably another 30 minutes or so. Unless a lot of you love for me to stream longer than I might go a little longer. What about Dallas, Texas? So Dallas, Texas does not look to get the threat. I mean, if you get anything, it's probably going to be a passing thunder boomer or so. It's not going to be anything substantial. This is kind of the cutoff point for your area. Anything to your east, your severe weather probabilities do increase. What's your favorite food, David? Oh, my favorite food? I gotta say tortellini. I love tortellini. I love spaghetti. I love pastas. That's what I like a lot. Let's see. Yes, I did Maple Magic for many reasons. I felt like Weather United was creating a little bit of confusion. A lot of people know me by my name, so I'm like, you know what? I feel what I did caused confusion, so I'm just going to go back and say, okay, I'm changing my name back to David Schlotthauer. Screen is screwed up. What the? Oh, I didn't even see that. Sorry, TRG. Yeah, I was on the SPC. As I change different scenes, it has different things. So if I go to there, I need to go to weather models. So that's how it works. Then I'll need to switch it over to Weather Bell and everything. Yeah, I have a lot of things open right now. What's up, Tyler Sherry? How are you? Hi, I live in southeast corner of Queensland at Brisbane in Australia. And can you have a look at the weather? And do you think there will be severe storms and supercells? Tyler Sherry, as much as I do like to cover weather for Australia, let me see if I could do that off of Weather Bell, since it is a question. Let's go to the European model, and let's go over to Australia really quickly. You said Queensland, right? Okay, Queensland. Yeah, if you guys ask me where in the heck you live in Australia, good luck. I know nothing about Australia. So you're probably somewhere here. So right now as it stands, you're going to have below average temperatures in Celsius. So this is all in Celsius for Australian standards. I mean, the northeastern portion of Australia looks to be cold for the next 10 days or so. Below average temperatures. Hey, you guys can get too hot, but you guys are going to actually be quite mild out there all the way through the next 4 to 5 days. So that's a look at your Australia weather. I'm not skipping questions. I'm skipping a few, but I'll get back to them. Would this tornado outbreak hit in Murray, Kentucky, or Mayfield? Again, I live in Murray, 20 miles from Mayfield, Kentucky. So let me look over the models on that. Let's go over here. So Mayfield is over here. Most of the instability is going to be washed out a little bit. So if we take a look here at your tornado perimeters, I mean, you have a very slim chance, maybe an isolated tornado, but I do not see strong tornadoes at this time for that area. Now, if we're able to get a stronger low-level jet, the dynamics are able to get more better in place. We might see warmer air advect and more moisture advect, maybe as far north as this. You are under a slight risk for severe weather, so yes, please take this still seriously. You're on the border of an enhanced risk for severe weather, but if you're thinking of, are we going to see a tornado outbreak? I don't see the need for a tornado outbreak, but an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. That's for sure. You will see some sort of severe weather, but strong tornadoes look a little less likely in that area. Tanya, I'm going back up. Sorry. Is Baton Rouge, Louisiana in the tornado warnings area, please? Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you're likely to see a marginal risk for severe weather. I don't see anything substantial since Baton Rouge is over here. A lot of it is to your north, okay? A lot of the severe weather is located to your northwest. So the good news is you're not in the worst of it. You're going to see an isolated supercellular, so that might drop a tornado. You are in a tornado threat, but not a tornado outbreak type standpoint. All right, I'm trying to get to all these questions. I'm trying. A lot of people are asking me, so I may not get to it right away, but I'm trying my best. Austin Norris. Kind like Mike said, what's your opinion on South Central Kentucky, more specifically the Bowling Green area? So South Central Kentucky is off the map here. So let's actually go over there to Kentucky. So for the Kentucky area, probably a very slim tornado threat, mainly a damaging wind threat, since you're going to have some strong low-level winds in place in that area. So a straight line wind event looks to be a better opportunity with wind gusts of at least 60 miles an hour as the line passes its way through. Tornado threat is diminished at that point. David, did you take into consideration cell interaction and possibly lower wind speed for the low-level jet? I did, Tony H. That's where the uncapped environment comes from, because that means everything just wants to blow up at once, and that could cause a lot of contamination. I am aware of that. Lily, what did Lily say? Yeah, stop on the questions until I can catch up. I think we're almost there. Memphis and Little Rock got the high tornado risk. Yes, that's what it looks like, the origin. Okay, let's see here. David, the SPC said a tornado outbreak. Yeah, they did mention a tornado outbreak is certainly possible. That's what we're really watching closely. It's, again, all about the setup. Now, this is very consistent. I'm not saying this is not going to happen. Otherwise, I would just simply say it's going to be just a marginal risk of severe weather. But unfortunately, this is going to happen, and it's going to be a big deal. Excuse me. I do not like College of DewPage. You can't not select more than once on a weather map, which is really annoying. So there we go. Okay, there's a map selection. Sorry, I missed that. Let's go back to the tornado perimeter to our default. So again, it just all depends on a lot of what ifs. But there's a lot of confidence that this is going to probably go moderate. But for the time being, I'm a little on the low end side, and I'm probably calling it kind of a 10 sig for tornadoes at the very most right now. Thank you so much, David. You're very welcome, Tanya. Sorry if I get to your question very late. It's just because people are asking and I'm the only person responding to those right now. David, the SPCC, yeah, I did get to that. Aiden, what's up, the church lady? How are you doing? What's up, Brady? What's up, Alex? What's up, Al? What's up, Tony H? What's up, Ruth? Forgot to say hi to some of you. What's up, Nicole? How are you doing? What about Franklin, Tennessee? So Franklin, Tennessee, let's go to that really quickly. Did they update that? Oh, no, never mind. They did not. So Franklin, Tennessee. So right now you are under a 5% a marginal risk for severe weather. Because again, with eastward extent, this is really just going to kind of get washed out. It's not like this is a multi-day. This is not like a 3-day event. This is a singular day event. It's going to impact your Tuesday, and then it's going to be all done from there. But how substantial could this end up being on Tuesday remains to be seen. It doesn't look very good. If I would be an SPC forecaster, would I go moderate right now? I'd probably hold off on another day for that, just because there's a little bit of that uncertainty among the models. Okay. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, I love that. Okay, we need merch, David. Okay. We're gonna do merch when I get bigger. I'm looking for. I will start looking for people to help me with that merch because I can't do this alone. I am going to have to start looking for people that are actually willing to help me design and make merch. So right now, we're not quite there yet. Okay, we're not quite there yet. It's gonna take some time. Time, folks. Let's see where we're at. Man, so many questions here. Let's see. You're very welcome, Brady. Okay. Could we get a high-end tornado event or maybe a PDS for northern Mississippi and Memphis metropolitan area? Very much possible. Yes. Maybe a high-end tornado event. Again, this is going to be the thing. How much moisture advects northward? Okay, how unstable does the atmosphere get? We know it's unstable enough. What about that shear? What about this? There's a lot. It's complicated. Right now, I see as far north as maybe the northern tongue of this gets the biggest tornado threat, barely impacting, say, Mayfield, Kentucky. But it's going to be likely right in here is where we're really watching the biggest threat for tornadoes. Let's see. Laughing out loud. I just put out some basic merch. Took like 8 hours, but I did it. Awesome, TRG. That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in, Brady. Why did I say Brandy? What's up, Drew? I am going to be live streaming during the severe weather event. That's what it looks like, but I also have to clean out my new my Davis weather station outside ahead of our storm system. I am just going to be very busy tomorrow, very busy on Tuesday. I am very much hoping I could be even able to live stream on time. I have a lot to get done because we're not just talking about a severe weather event on Tuesday. We're also talking about a pretty big storm system hitting my area on Thursday. We'll get to more on that in just a little bit here. Probably in about 5 minutes, we'll talk about California's storm because there could be 6 feet of snow. Yeah, I said it. I just said 6 feet of snow. Maybe even more than that. So Lassen Peak could even get maybe 8 feet of snow out of that storm. That would be substantial. What dew point temps are expected? David. So dew point temperatures, let's go back to the map here. On what portion, Owl? So dew points, so depending on where you're at, the further south you go, the higher the dew points. So we got dew points down here in the 70s. Yeah, that's in the Sierra, Brandy, and I want to explain why that's going to be the case. You guys are going to love how our weather works here in California. When we get these big old, huge atmospheric rivers, things get really interesting. I'll talk about that here in about 5 or so minutes. Yeah, a lot of snow, a lot of wind, and a lot of rain. We need it. We need it! So any questions? Longview, Texas. Let's go to Longview, Texas. So Longview, Texas, right in the slight risk, my guy. I-20 right there, under a slight risk for severe weather. Here's the interactive map of the moderate risk for severe weather. Over Memphis, over Greenville, over Monroe, over Pine Bluff, under that moderate risk for severe what? Did I just say moderate? Oh my gosh. This is a freaking probabilities. This is a 10%, 30-10 for severe weather for Monroe, Louisiana, all the way into the Lincoln View area, or Longview, Texas region. North Central Louisiana, please. So North Central Louisiana is under a 10-30. So if you hear me say 30-10, I'll just kind of say that. 30-10 means a 30% chance of severe weather and a 10% SIG for severe weather. Thank you for tuning in, Tony H. Have fun with the airport, buddy. Yeah, I did Longview, Texas, which is over here. You're under a 10%. Which that might get extended further west. I would not be surprised in later outlooks. Even Tyler, Texas, Jacksonville, maybe a little further to the west here. Getting close to the Palestine area might get under a slight risk. I think they might enlarge the enhanced risk a little bit. Is the tornado going to hit Georgia? No, Georgia's not even in a severe weather threat. I'm going to likely stream this. No, I'm not sick, Alex Miller. There were some storms today in Florida. The Jags games were delayed. Moderate risk looks to be possible, yes. Certainly a possibility for a moderate risk. That's what I'm predicting. So, couple more minutes and we'll talk about California. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're going to be on our feet keeping you all updated here on the severe weather. And yeah, if our storm gets to be the way it is on models, I'm even giving the models some money. So every time we get a big system and there's consistency for strong winds and heavy rainfall, I actually drop a coin in the container. So right now, there has been some consistency as far as our storm goes. Can this be a high-risk event? Ask help. I don't think it's going to be a high-risk event. And the reason why I don't say high-risk is they are very, very rare. If you get a high-risk event, you are looking at more than likely a violent tornado outbreak. I mean, it's a tornado outbreak, but it usually includes violent tornadoes or widespread damaging winds of at least 75 or greater. So the one thing you do not want to see on the Storm Prediction Center is a high-risk event. That would be really bad. Hey David, what time are you day are you streaming on Tuesday? I don't know what time yet, Origin. My day is literally dependent on my grandpa, because he's still in the hospital, and I have other things I've got to get done around the house and outside. So I don't know yet. It may be one of those streams I just don't schedule it and I just go live when I'm available or something. The brown are in Houston is less severe, right? Yes. In Houston, there's a 5% chance of severe weather. That is, again, overall severe weather probabilities for day 3. They don't give tornado, wind, or hail this far out. But right now, it's a 5% for Houston. For Lake Charles, you're under a 15% chance for severe weather. If you are in Shreveport, if you're in Jackson, that's where you have a 10 sig, or a 15 sig for tornadoes. Or no, wait, severe weather. Sorry, for severe weather. A sig wind event max out at 45 sig. They stopped doing high risks for wind. So in a way, a 45 sig. What? Did they really change it again? No, they still do high risks, I think, for wind, don't they? Yeah, they do. They still do high risks. It's on the conversion chart. Oops, let me do this. It is still on there. So they do still high risks. Rare. If they do, that would be really bad. You do not want to see that. I promise you do not want to see anything like that. What's up, Diana? By the way, Candy, before we transition, because Candy needs a shout out. Candy's got to get a shout out because she got me this for my birthday. So before we transition into talking about our storm system, I felt like I gotta show you guys this. I gotta give a huge shout out to, again, our viewer Candy S, Paw Patrol gingerbread decorating kit. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, thank you, Candy, for this. I have not started decorating it yet. I might do that when things wind down. Again, I'm just busy. I'm just extremely busy. And so, one last look for anyone that wants to see that. Paw Patrol gingerbread decorating kit. Candy got this for my birthday on the 15th. So thank you, Candy. Includes everything you need. There's characters, I wonder how many characters it has. Probably gives me only 3 characters or 4 characters. So, yeah. So, wow. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Gotta say thank you to Candy, because Candy was so nice to give that to me for my birthday. So, thank you, Candy. So, yeah, my day is very busy, Candy. That's just why I don't have time. I mean, I didn't even have time to even get on my computer today because I've been out of the house for like 12 hours. Just to show you, in curiosity, how busy I actually am. David's not just sitting on his chair anymore. You know, I'm doing other things. Some of our Christmas lights on our house right now. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Get ready for your electricity bill to go up, though. Thank you so much, Alex. I'm glad you love it a lot. All right. Who wants to see me do my my update, quick brief update on our system on California? I think you guys would be very amazed. So we did talk about the severe weather. Any last questions on that before we move on? Anything going once? Going twice? So any last questions on that? And then we'll move on. Because I think it's important that we do talk about California weather and the West. Because us and them are going to get hit really hard. Why does it smell like... It smells like campfire. I guess someone's having a campfire outside. All right. All right, no questions? All right, we're moving on. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go over here. Let's go. So this is what a glocket is. Okay, and it's a weird term saying it's just a little piece of energy, just a little thing in the atmosphere. And so what I like to look at here on models is this. Let me transfer it over there. Is this weather system, and you're like, whoa, David, how is there going to be a system so strong for California? What is going to be happening? Well, when you take a look at the models, and this is the thing that is so complicated. You guys all think that the system up here is going to hit California. Well, yes and no, maybe so. A lot of this energy is actually going to be impacting the Pacific Northwest. All right, on the computer model. This is the European, by the way. All right, or what is nicknamed, if TRG was still in here, would be called the TRG model, but it's fine. So the European model is showing that, but I want you all to guess. We're going to just play a little guessing game, and then we're going to get to the forecast, okay? Where do you think else on this map our system is? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Or is it way up here? So I'm going to put number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Put in your number in the chat. Where do you think our system is on this map? And this is a 48-hour forecast. This is 2 days out. A little bit of a guessing game. Number 1? We'll see. Keith! What's up, Keith Evans? Welcome. Welcome, brother. I gotta say, welcome. So, number 1, someone says 2. Oh, we got a lot of 2s. Going on. Ah, you guys guessed it right. It is number 2. And it's like, when I look at this, I'm like, if something little changes, this is going to throw the forecast out the door. So when we take a look at this, we can see a little bit of a glocket right here, a little bit of a piece of energy that tries to develop. It's not this low, it's got to be this one that forms. And every single model run, when I look at, is like, okay, so this system here is that. This trough is right here. The thing is, that little glocket, though, there has to be interaction going on for that system to move into California. That's what makes this so darn tricky. Because we know the trough is going to hit the Pacific Northwest. That's where Keith is. In Washington, we know the system's going to affect that. Might actually be a problem for our system down here. I'm hoping it doesn't get too strong over there. Then this thing is able to swing around and hit our area. So when we take a look here, we're going to use a 12Z model for reference just because it's a complete model run. We can see how this all progresses. I mean, it's like that little Glocket now becomes our system. So we can see the overall setup. This is a very strong system, or a very strong trough, we should say. And then by the time we go into, say, Thursday, look how strong that is, 995. So that's where our system would be on the GFS if this pans out. And that would be very strong. I mean, I'm excited just by hearing this. It's like, wow, it's on the models. It's been on the models. I don't like getting too excited, but I mean, we need rain. We need the storms. We've got to live stream it if it happens. Actually, if it happens on Thursday, which I hope it doesn't, I won't be able to stream because I'm going to be at filming school. Yes, filming school, which means I won't get home until like about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the disappointment. So if it happens, it better happen Thursday night or Friday morning. We're fine with that. But if it happens Thursday morning, it's done for. I can't do it. Sweet. Okay, I'll see you in just a little bit then, Lil RVs. So that's our system, and just to show you how strong this actually is, and you might think, it's just a little California storm, David. Why are we talking about California? Because it's going to be a big system. Look at these low-level winds, folks. These winds, for California standards, are pretty ridiculous. You can see, oops, where in the, why is this? Okay, here we go. So if you all are here, can you all hear me? It hailed a lot here today, snowed tonight. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's wild up there. Weather is pretty crazy, and it's going to remain crazy for a little while longer for your area, Keith. So we can see here our system comes into play. If this would not freeze up on me, 12Z since it's complete. Look at these winds that come into our area. Very, 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 very strong. I mean, look at all that wind energy. Very strong winds that come in out of the southerly direction right here. Over California, over the Central Valley. I mean, that's 50 to 60 knot low-level winds that approach our area. I mean, that is very strong, and if this happens, this would be a big deal. What's up, extreme weather? How are you doing? So hopefully this system actually pans out. It looked even more scarier on the 0Z run. Look how strong this was going to be right here. If we look at the 900 millibar winds, look at that. I mean, that was going to be very scary. That was going to look nasty. It's all about that little piece of energy, the little Glocket. How that's going to all interact with that trough to the northeast. It's so complicated. And actually, I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. Whoever's still watching, I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you think this could actually end up happening? Is the European model on Fantasyland? I want to hear your guys' answers on that. Because I think it could happen, but it's like the way that setup is, just the players on the field just don't. It just doesn't. It's just weird. I'm speechless because it just the way the play out is. I'm excited for the crazy weather, but it's got to happen first. I mean, I can say it all I want. Oh, we're going to have wild weather. Doesn't mean it will happen. I mean, it's all about that system right there. Every model right now makes me nervous. because one little change, this thing may not even be a big deal at all. Cinderella's in Fantasyland, David, not a weather model. Oh my gosh, Candy, you're funny. Maybe this is going to happen because Candy puts it in the computer model. Maybe Candy is making all this weather crazy. I am not nervous, Candy. Ugh, Candy, I'm not nervous. I'm nervous about how each model run will render. I mean, the icon is rendering. Oh, the icon's rendering actually on this. Ooh. Wow. That is much weaker. What the heck? Ooh, that might just... Oh, that just might have an impact on how that pattern interacts. Oh my... Yeah, I'm looking at the icon. I'm a little anxious because it's a new model run. Every model run. So let me see. You guys want to see the rain amounts, or no, wait, snowfall totals. So this is the potential outcome that the winter storm might have over our area. There you have it. All the way through Saturday, there might be 80 plus inches of snowfall. Now, if that sounds bad enough, remember this is not a high resolution model. We got to look at the CAMS guidance, and I'm sure there's going to be over 100 inches of snow in some areas after this is all said and done. I'm here, extreme weather team. I'm still here, buddy. What's up, Alex Miller? Actually, maybe Alex Miller can decide what he's going to do with our storm, huh, Alex Miller? Some fun and happiness. What are your thoughts, Alex Miller? Do you think that system could end up panning out? Is this legitimately a tricky situation? Daniel, what's up? Thank you for upgrading, buddy. I'm not liking the setup. The setup is so complicated. It just does not look like it's going to exist. It does not make sense. All about the trough. That trough to the north. I have acknowledged it. Daniel, what are your thoughts about that system that could hit California on Thursday? I'll have to ask Ethan. This will be an Ethan question when I talk to him tonight. So, yeah. I mean, not much more to talk about other than that. The GFS, is this rendering yet? Oh, it's not. See, this is what I'm worried that's going to happen. I mean, look at the difference between the models. I mean, this is the GFS 18Z run, and this is your European run. It actually doesn't look too... Actually looks a lot weaker. Oh, this is trending down. Darn it. I hope that's not the fate. Could stuff change quickly? Oh, yeah. It could change very quickly. Like, we're already seeing that. I mean, the GFS has no sense into its head versus the 0Z run last night, which had a lot deeper system, much deeper system over California. We look at the 18Z run, it's a lot weaker. That's the thing. All from the same exact little perturbation. Why does a weather have to be so complicated sometimes? Oh, I love that campfire smell. It smells so good. It has that wintry taste. All right, it is almost an hour into my stream. I think I'm going to head off here in about 10 minutes. If you haven't subscribed already, we do have a Weather Force Discord server, folks. I would really highly recommend participating in it. It is quite a lot of fun. You can't miss it at all. So if you guys haven't participated yet in the Weather Force Discord server, be sure to check it out today. Oops, I need to get my full screen up. So that's the server. We have a lot of fun in there. We just have a lot of interaction. It's family. Family is in my server. Oh, I know. I saw that. Oh yeah, I definitely saw that, Keith. That is that's our problem right there. That system is so annoying. It is in the way, I believe. That is so much in the way, and if that wasn't there, however, it could happen still. You know what? That might not be why that system does not develop very well. I'm just trying to figure out a potential outcome. Let me see the European on this. Oh, this is so complicated. Why can't we get a good, accurate forecast on this? But that is a very tight pressure gradient. Definitely for sure on the icon model. That is a very strong system. Just how strong will remain to be seen. But yeah, look at the winds on that. That is very strong. When will we have the day 2 outlook from the SPC? Probably at 10 o'clock tonight. I bet you it's going to go moderate. At least. Upgraded to Category 3. Oh, thank you, Taniel. Is there anything happening in Fairfax? Fairfax, what state? There's probably more than one Fairfax. Let me know which state, because there is more than one Fairfax. I want to know what he wants for Christmas. Anything, Alex. Anything. Maybe another gingerbread house? Or maybe one of your cats. Because we have a cat here. I go feed him twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. But it's a stray cat. It's called the cat's name is Bib. Oh, I'm nervous on this icon. It is further south. It is further south. That system, my grief. That thing is strong hitting Washington and Oregon. And yeah, this time, Keith Evans, you would get an easterly wind. The way that gradient is, you would get some serious winds. But I am not liking... Oh, this is so complicated. I am not liking the setup of this at all. So complicated. I love cats. I have 2 and outside... Oh, nice. You have 2 cats? That's awesome. All right. Any other questions you guys have? Anything else you need to ask me? I think we covered everything. If I missed anything, hopefully I didn't. Just let me know. I'm going to hopefully make a video tomorrow on the severe weather. Not a live stream, just because I won't have much time making a live stream. So we're just going to probably do a video discussion on the severe weather. I don't believe in Santa Claus, Alex Miller. I haven't ate dinner yet, Alex. Hey, if you miss me so much, Alex, join the Discord server. Join the Discord server, please. I would highly recommend joining the Discord server. I'm in there. Candy is in there. Brian is in there. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Lil RVs. Is Philadelphia going to get any snow with this storm? Take a look at it. Let's go over to there. So let's go to the east. You are good. The GFS model, you're not going to... You might get a trace amount of snow. It's going to be much colder, though, but it really all depends on latest models. Models have been consistently at showing no snow for your area, just a cold rain. Because that moisture will decrease right behind it. Right behind the storm. Thank you, Aiden. I need you to make yourself bigger and smile for a screenshot. All right. There. Yep, I did it. Winter storm watches for Minnesota and Wisconsin. Ooh, really? Let's take a look at those really quickly. Yeah, I do see that right there. There are winter storm watches. Thanks, David. Good to see your update. I want to give you a phone call if you can, Keith, after I'm done with this live stream. What's up, Weather Halter? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, Cheryl? Bruce? Brucey Lucy, how are you doing? Welcome to this channel. We're just kind of going back and forth between severe weather, keeping an eye on my neck of the woods, where I live. Because we got a strange monster coming our way, a weather system. And actually, I'm going to call this the Alex storm that's going to hit California. He's a little weaker on the models, though. I am not liking that placement. But, of course, the icon has all weird outcomes, I'll have to say. I'm supposed to get some snow Tuesday. Yeah, so you must be in the northern tier. of the United States. Man, that system, my gosh, that system gets strong. I did not realize how strong that system actually is on the models. I mean, that is very strong. 976 millibars over Ontario and Quebec, Canada. That's a very dynamic system. A lot of wind on this too. A lot of wind. You bet there might even be gale. There will be certainly gale warnings on this. Yeah, I want to talk to you about our system, Keith, because I want to see what your thoughts are on it. Thank you so much. Thank you for wishing me a happy Thanksgiving, even though it's not Thanksgiving, but thank you anyways. I do appreciate that. All right. I live in upper level Wisconsin. David, can we see the gingerbread house again? I might buy one. All right. Here's one last look at it. One last look at the gingerbread house. Let me make this screen a little bigger. There we go. So that's a look at the gingerbread house. But please join the server if you can, Alex Miller. So that's the Paw Patrol gingerbread kit. And I almost want to eat it. I want to put it together, then eat it up. Makes me hungry. Live stream making it, David. I might do that for members only. I'm thinking about doing that, saving it for members only. So if you want to see that me make it, members only content. Because, see, it's not weather related. You know? And so I'm like, if anything is not weather related, you know, I can do it for members only. I already know the icon's not my friend. The icon hates me. That system is so strong that hits the Pacific Northwest. My goodness. Do it for everyone. Great idea, Alex. Candy is in charge. I'm not making it because it's a mess. It's by my computer and I don't want stuff on my keyboard and everything. I don't think you want to join my server, Alex. Candy is not my boss. Wow, this is a strange looking. Very strange. That went much further south, though. Wow. Oh, man, this makes me interested of what this is going to show. No, I'm not going to eat it after. I'm probably going to take a couple of pictures and probably put it on my social media. By the way, before I do end it, just a general rundown of social medias that I do have. If you guys want to follow me on Facebook, I am on Facebook. Facebook groups, Sacramento Weather Center. We have 84 members in there right now. I do updates on our local weather here in California, sometimes Nevada, the Pacific Northwest. I do a lot of cool things. So, make sure you check out my Sacramento Weather Center Facebook group. It's a lot of fun. I do a lot of things in there. We have 84 members. It's great. Also, you could follow me on Twitter at Weather United. For some reason, I cannot change my name back to David Schlotthauer because I'm verified on there. Yes, wrong timing, right? So if you want to follow me, it's at Weather United 1 on Twitter, okay? And I have Instagram. I have other social medias. There's many ways you could follow me, not just on YouTube, but also on Facebook and Twitter. It's always fun to interact. It's always fun to talk to people all across social media. All right, so if you want to participate, there is a link to the Facebook group in the description. If not, I will put it here in the chat if you guys want to check that out. All right, I have said I'm going to head out too many times, and people are going to be like, when are you going to end it? When are you going to end it? So I think there's nothing much more to talk about of this live stream and everything. I will be live certainly on Tuesday. I just don't know what time yet, but expect a live stream from me on Tuesday, okay? I will be streaming that enhanced/moderate risk for severe weather. Also, Michael Guerrero, really quickly, if you have Discord, check out our Weather Force Discord server. I want to hear your opinions on that California storm coming up on Thursday, okay? If you can please join the Weather Force Discord server, that would be great. Okay, that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. I love you guys. I want to give you guys a big hug. Big hug. Here it is. Big hug of all of you that are in this circle. My 2,100 plus subscribers, big old fat hug. So thank you all for participating in this live stream tonight. All right, love you guys. See you guys tomorrow with more weather content. I'm hoping to have a video out tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I get a video out tomorrow. We'll be very, very busy. Absolutely busy. All right, love you guys. Okay. Check out my Facebook group, Discord, and all social medias.